Welcome to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Namofsky. Have you heard of the low-FODMAP diet? This is a specific diet that you need to monitor, and you need to speak to a dietitian because there's only a limited amount of time that you can be on it. No one wants to talk about gastro issues, but we will tonight. If you're experiencing food intolerances, if you have IBS, diverticulitis, or anything gastro-associated, this show is for you. I'm joined by Alexandra Anca, registered dietitian and founder of Alexandra Anca Nutrition Consulting, specializing in gastrointestinal disorders for the past 18 years. She holds a certificate on the low-FODMAP diet from Monash University in Australia. Alexandra was most recently awarded the King's Coronation Medal for her work with Celiac Canada in raising awareness about celiac disease. Today's topic is the low-FODMAP diet and what we need to know. Hello, Alexandra. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, so good to be here, Elizabeth. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's just jump in. What is the low-FODMAP diet?
The low FODMAP diet is a short-term elimination and reintroduction protocol that helps us determine the food triggers that are responsible for symptoms that are commonly experienced by individuals with irritable bowel syndrome, things like bloating, diarrhea, cramping, a lot of gas, things that tend to be very bothersome and affect the quality of life.
So when you're on the low-FODMAP diet, what foods need to be avoided?
So the low FODMAP diet tends to limit or avoid carbohydrate-rich foods because they contain something called quick fermenting sugars that tend to pull in a lot of water, create a lot of gas in the intestinal system, and cause those symptoms that I just spoke about. So we are looking at foods that are essentially carbohydrate rich. So if we start at the top with a grain product or grains group, we avoid things like wheat, barley, and rye. We avoid a lot of the legumes, except for a short or a small amount of chickpeas and lentils. We avoid lactose containing dairy products. Lactose is a fermentable, quick fermenting carbohydrate, as well as a large array of fruits and vegetables. For example, with fruit, we tend to avoid stone fruits like peaches and apricots, apples and pears. These are fruits that are very, very common in the Western diet. And on the vegetable side, major group of the Allison family: garlic, onions, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower. Those are the types of foods that tend to, again, exacerbate or make symptoms of bloating and gas quite bothersome for individuals.
So you've talked about many of the foods that we need to avoid. What can we have instead then?
Well, as funny it is that as long as it's the list of these foods to be avoided as it is, the low FODMAP alternatives are actually quite varied. So when we talk about, again, if I am to use the same order in which I talked about the other foods, so in the grains we have oats and quinoa, rice and corn, so quite a bit of variety. When we talk about fruits and vegetables, we have in the fruits group cantaloupes, honeydew, hammy melon, or we have tropical fruits like papaya, pineapple, and kiwi. We have grapes, for example, blueberries, raspberries. A lot of the berries, with the exception of blackberries, those are actually high FODMAP. So there's quite a bit of variety. And when it comes to vegetables, we have a lot of the dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, Swiss chard. We have root vegetables that are low FODMAP. We have winter squashes, as well as salads. So we can have lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. Those are all low FODMAP choices. But you need to have this diet monitored by a dietitian who is trained in the low FODMAP diet to make sure that you don't unnecessarily avoid food for that duration of the elimination phase.
So why, if somebody's on the low FODMAP diet without a dietitian, clearly they're going to be on it a little bit too long,
Right.
probably not on it properly. I want to really delve into this when we come back from the commercial break as to why you need a dietitian and whether it could be harmful to you for being on the low FODMAP diet for longer than you should be, because I believe that there's a specific time frame. So please don't go away. We'll be right back and discuss more about the low FODMAP diet.